Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone this morning? I hope you're doing well. We have a really fun morning plan, don't we? This is going to be so fun. We're so lucky to have a special guest speaker on with us today. I'm going to close my chat for the moment, but the chat is open. So for all questions and comments and things like that. So I hope you all are doing well on this a very odd Saturday morning here in Carmel. My daughter and I went down to do our morning walk and got out of the car, walked about 5 minutes. It started raining. We're like, where did this come from? Came back to the car, came home. It wasn't raining. Did a workout, went back to the farmer's market. Not really raining, sun was out. We're like, what is going on with this weather today? So it's very crazy today, but we come back to the habits that ground us, that center us, and we know that personal development is one of them. And this book club has been a super fun addition to stuff that we do as a team. And this morning we have a very special guest speaker for us. And, you know, we know that this book is one that so many of us on this team, I don't even know where it started circulating. It was all of a sudden I heard about it, and then I heard about it everywhere. So it was kind of one of those, you know, you don't hear about anything, and then you it's like a car, like you've never seen your kind of car, and then you buy a car and now you see that car everywhere. That's kind of how this book just like took over, Judi Holler. It just like all of a sudden was everywhere, your podcast, all the things, everywhere. And so that's a good thing. And it has been just really resonating with so many people. So what you're writing clearly needed to be out in this world. So we're so glad that you did. And we're so happy that you are sharing 30 minutes or so of your time with us today. What a gift that you're giving us. And so I think I've shared with the team that Erica Smiley kind of set this up for us because Judi, you had called her out on your podcast, and you were definitely one that was on my radar to ask to speak. And when Erica made that connection with you, what better person to set this up? So my name is Julie Voris. I'm the founder of this team. And we started right here in Carmel, Indiana at the kitchen table that is right next door in the very next room. And here we are 12 years later. I've been a coach for 12 years. And so we just started this book club, oddly, just a few weeks ago, because I always had this strange concept. I don't know if it was strange or just it was what I kind of had in my head. And, you know, once you kind of think something, sometimes it's hard to shift and change. And I thought, well, we all have to be reading the same book. And once I realized, actually, we don't. And it's been super valuable for us to gather on a Saturday morning and share what we're reading. And it's been all different. That has been a game changer for us. So we've been gathering the past few Saturday mornings, just talking about what we've been reading, talking about what's resonating with us. And the good thing about that is that we add to our own personal book list. The bad thing about that is my accountant keeps wondering why I'm spending so much money at Barnes & Noble, because I'm buying new books every Saturday. There are so many great books out there. A couple weeks ago, we had Michelle Polar speak, author of Hello Fears. You might have seen her. She was so fun. So we've just been kind of doing some hodgepodge of some speakers and some just discussion among us. And today we're so grateful that you are sharing a little bit of your time with us on this Saturday morning.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Julie. It's so awesome to be here. And hi, Erica. Thanks for setting this up. I have since been, you know how it is. We do this on the Instagram. You start to find people, follow people, and then you sort of start stalking people with love. And so Erica and Julie have kind of fallen in love with you guys online. I love what you're out there doing. Erica, I love your energy. It's so genuine. And I also want to have a conversation real quick about the power of asking and being brave enough to put yourself out there. And maybe you get a no, and maybe you get a yes, but I think you never get in this life what you don't ask for. And so the fact that Erica just jumped into the DMs and made that authentic connection with me, and we can have a conversation about that as you think about putting yourselves out there and representing your business and your brand. You know, listen, we're going to get no's sometimes, but if we don't ask, we'll never even get close to getting what we want. And sometimes you may get what you want and then some, right? So that's what we should be looking at, right? This idea of like, holy crap, like, you know, Michelle says this too, like this idea of like, what could go right? What's the best thing that could happen here? And I'm thinking, and I'm kind of obsessing right now over this idea of like, how can I make COVID the best thing that ever happened to me? Like, how can I make what's going on in the world around racial injustice and all this civil unrest, the best thing that ever freaking happened for my life and my business. And dude, that is an empowering thought process, as opposed to sitting around going, oh my God, where do I start? And what do I do? And oh my God, and this is affecting me and me. No, let's flip the script here. And how can we make this the best damn thing that ever happened to us? So we'll talk about that a little bit, but I'm obsessed. And so I'm obsessed with you guys. I'm so honored to be here. And I'm just really proud that you do this on Saturday mornings. What a beautiful way to invest in yourselves and to really make big, fat, juicy deposits into the bank of you, because none of it works if you don't. And the fact that you're brave enough to do that, dude, you'll change your lives. And that's what it's all about. And you're doing that. So here's what I was thinking about for today. You guys kind of let me know what you want to do. We could do two things here. You read the book, so we could just legit do like a Q&A, or I've got a couple of fun slides with some new information. Trust me, it's not boring. Don't worry. I will kind of go back and forth between the slides, but maybe share some ideas to get you guys thinking about this uncomfortable space that we're in right now. These are ideas that are not in Fear is My Homeboy, that may be able to help you embrace this discomfort zone a little bit more. And then we could go into a Q&A. So usually this goes like 25 minutes. I could do like 25 minutes of slides and ideas, and then just sort of open it up to like a Q&A and a jam session with you guys. How does that sound?
Yes, let's do that. And I am going to go over and make you a co-host, so that way you should be able to
share screen.
yeah. So
Perfect.
then you should be able to share your screen right out of the gate. And
Cool.
then I can mute myself. A couple reminders, y'all, hit speaker view so that she comes up big and the slides come up big. Make sure you're muted on your end too. Also, I turned off my phone. Let's be present right here, right now for this moment. Let's be present, because I think for a lot of us, the 30 seconds that she just said, I immediately went, yes, give it to me, right? I need it right now. So if you are feeling like I do, turn the phones off, turn everything off, get your notebooks open, make her on speaker view, mute yourself, and let's freaking go, dive in and do this. So you are now a co-host, so I'm gonna mute myself.
Cool.
You're on, girl. Let's go.
Yay! Oh, you're such a good MC. I love it. Okay, so here's the thing. I have my chat box open. So please talk to me. I will call out to you guys and ask you to chime in from time to time. And then I will share my screen and then make the slide go away so that you can see me. Because I realize that once the slide's up, like, you don't need like one word up for 4 minutes, right? I'd rather, okay, Melissa Ortiz, they are just so cute. Where are they? They just left my screen. They are just smiling so big. Where'd y'all go? Oh, there you guys. Oh, hi. Y'all are just smiling so big in the camera there. It's just so cute. I don't know what's going on over there, but I love the vibe. You guys are great. So many happy faces. It's like the best way to start my weekend. I love it. Good to see you guys. And don't forget to mute yourselves again, since I made you unmute. But yeah, mute yourselves again. So there we go. Perfect. Okay, so I'm assuming everybody knows who I am. I wrote a book called Fear is My Homeboy, which was a fun, playful way for me to describe what I believe fear is, and fear is my friend. I grew up in the 1990s. I'm obsessed with all 1990s things, 1990s hip hop. Do we have any 1990s hip hop fans on it? Please give me some love. Give me a hell yes or an HY in the chat box, because that means we can be friends. So that is, that has been a big part of my life. It inspires so much of the work that I create and the things I do that influence my business. And so when I was thinking of titling the book, I thought there was no better way than to declare fear as my homeboy, because literally everything in the 1990s was our homeboy. That was just what we did and what we said when you grow up in that sort of era. That said, outside of writing the book, I own a creative company. And in that company, we are on a mission to make the world a braver place, to help leaders lead braver teams. And we do that through the things we create. And one of those are my speeches. So I work primarily as a keynote speaker, now a little bit as a virtual keynote speaker. Books, products, resources. I am very inspired, and this is important, I'm very inspired by what I learned in the improv theater. So have we seen improv theater? Yes or no? I'm an alum of Second City's Conservatory in Chicago, so if you've read the book, you know improv plays a big role in my life. And so I just want to make sure we understand what improv is. And if you haven't seen improv, please let me know, like say no. That way I can do just like a high level cliff notes, because we're going to talk about a couple improv things here on the call today. But yeah, we've got a lot of you, a lot of hell yeses. The 90s were the best. They were fun. 80s were pretty legit. I was just a little bit smaller in the 80s, but man, the 90s. So it looks like some of you have seen improv. So it's a form, cool. So somebody put, Erica, great. And you did that in high school a little bit. Yes to Second City, cool. So it seems like most of us have an understanding of improv theater, and why this is so big, especially now, y'all, is improv theater is really all about having no script. That's what makes it different. We use our training, things like yes and, to succeed on stage when we have no freaking script. And guess what? You have no script either. You never wake up with a script. You're gonna wake up with some goals, some plans, a to-do list, things you wanna get done, ways you wanna crush it. But none of us wake up with a script. And so I found myself, when I was studying improv theater, I was working by day in like sales and marketing, corporate America, by night doing improv. And I was starting to get like really brave on the improv stage, using this training to help me boss up, right? And to help me do really courageous things in the improv theater. And that bled over into my professional life. It helped me start bossing up in the boardroom, right? It helped me do crazy things like experiment with my fear and make it a game to speak up first on conference calls, and to speak and to write articles and to lead sales meetings and to raise my hand first in meetings and sit in the front row at events. Like I do all kinds of experiments to really help myself become more noticeable, and just to open the door for more possibility in my life. And it worked. And so I became obsessed with what I was learning in the improv theater, and that really led me to where I'm at today. And one of the best parts of the job I have now is that I founded this Fear Boss community. And we're a community of brave humans on a mission to smash comfort zones and experiment with fear. So I will share my first slide. That is our Fear Boss mission. And I have to start here because we need to have a little conversation about freedom, because I believe it's that one word we all really want a little bit more of in our lives. And so as a Fear Boss, we believe that all of the freedom we desire in life lives on the other side of the comfort zone, and it requires us to smash the comfort zone with our courage. And so when you think about freedom, I really sort of define freedom a couple of ways. So there is, of course, financial freedom, the freedom to have money in the bank, to live with ease, especially when you know what hits the fan. I think we've all woken up to that reality faster than some of us wanted to. What about physical freedom? Y'all are in this business, right? Okay, I think I lost you. Are you guys back? Okay, cool. My cord fell out of my computer. I'm so sorry about that. I need to like tape that even stronger. Okay, so were we on the physical freedom? What freedom were we on? Did we just finish? Okay, great. So we want physical freedom, right? The freedom to have energy and to move our bodies with ease, right? We want mental freedom, and I love this one. I'm always chasing this one. The freedom to have focus, to manage self-doubt, to manage anxiety, and to control our reactions. So when things happen, we can go, okay, I got this. Instead of throwing a lamp against the wall, like that's what happened in my house growing up. That's, I mean, half Italian, right? Things in our house got handled by literal chaos erupting. And so I'm always on a mission to go, okay, this is uncomfortable and this is not good right now, but who's in control of what happens next, right? And so really working, and that takes work. You have to do the uncomfortable things required in order to get that mental freedom, but we all want less anxiety, right? We all want more focus. What about professional freedom? I don't know about y'all, this is one of my favorites. The freedom to do work we love the way we want with people that freaking rock. I mean, that is something I am chasing on the regular. The fact that I get to wake up this morning and do this with you is like insane to my brain, right? Like, this is dope. This is what I want in life, to be able to do things like this, because I've designed my life to be that way. You can have all of that. But the only time I'm going to use the word but, yes, but, because we can use buts sometime to make a really good point, and I'm going to make one. But you have to be willing to get uncomfortable in order to earn all of the freedom that you want in this life. I mean, lucky people aren't lucky. They're just out there being brave, right? They're just out there. That's luck is bravery. Luck is courage. Luck is living inside the discomfort zone. So I want you to think about something. I'm going to share my slides again. I want you to think about something. Every uncomfortable thing in your life that you have and you love right now has required you to walk through the discomfort zone in order to earn it. And I don't know about y'all, but this is like my favorite emoji. I feel like I am the awkward face emoji. I know Michelle Polar loves this emoji too. Her whole brand was built off it, right? You're always kind of like, hey, hi, me. This is the number one emoji I use. I'm going to open my chat box. What emoji, what's your number one? If you can type emojis, I want to see your favorite emojis. Like, what's the emoji that is like the most used in your phone? For me, it is 1,000%. Let me get back to my chat box. There we go. Yeah, the fist pump. Good one. It is 100% for me, the awkward face emoji. Ooh, I love that Audra gave me the stars, the twinkles. I feel like that's the sequin emoji, and I love sequin. Oh yeah, the happy face. Ooh, the rock on. That's a good one. I don't hear. Ooh, the wink. Yay, the crying, laughing, always one of my favorites. That's in my top 3. The crying, laughing sideways has kind of, when that came out, that took the lead. They now have a flamingo emoji, if you've read my book. I love the pink flamingos. I mean, I don't decorate my house in them or anything, but I have like little ones every now and then. But I mean, they have a pink flamingo emoji now. Anyway, I digress. So think about this. Every awesome thing you have in your life has required you to do something uncomfortable in order to earn it. Okay, so think about your kids. If you have a child, if you have given birth specifically to a child, you love that child. You're glad you had that child, but you actually had to give birth to that child in order to earn that child, right? So that is super uncomfortable. Think about your spouse, your significant other, your partner, whoever that person is in your life. Like, someone had to be like, hi, I like you. Do you want to go out? Would you like to go on a date? Like, that is always super awkward and uncomfortable. Like, you have to go on the date. You have to do the thing. Even your best friend. I think of like me meeting Judi, my best friend of like since we were 18. Like, one of us had to go say hi to the other one. Like, hi, do you want to like hang out this weekend? It's super awkward face emoji, right? But it earns me that beautiful friendship. Think about your business and the things you do to earn revenue, to bring new customers and team members into your circle and into your community. It requires you doing the uncomfortable thing in order to go earn that. What about your physical, the things you do to earn your physical health? And let me know I was bringing this up earlier when the feed went down, but we do the uncomfortable things like moving our body and taking vitamins and going to the doctor and all that stuff that sometimes we don't want to do in order to earn our health. And I always make this joke, like, does anybody really like kale? If you like kale, let me know in the comments. But I do not like kale, but I drink the green juice so that I earn my health. I do the uncomfortable thing required in order to earn the healthy life that I want, that allows me to do the awesome, badass things in my life. If you like kale, let me know. You're a unicorn or something, because, Amber, kale is awesome. I love it. Upside down face emoji. That's so good. Yeah, some people like kale. Listen, no judgment, no disrespect to my kale lovers. But yeah, we do these things. You get my point. We do the uncomfortable things in order to earn all that comfort we want in life. And the discomfort zone is uncomfortable because it's supposed to be. But here's the good news. You can get braver and you can get stronger there. Here's the problem. This is what stops us up. We get so worried that we're not good enough. We get so paralyzed with self-doubt. We worry so much about people judging us and people not liking us and people making fun of us, right? And this is what stops us. I mean, we don't want to embarrass ourselves. We don't want to fail. We don't want to publicly fail. We don't want to look like a fool. And again, we don't want people to judge us, not like us, and or make fun of us. I mean, a lot of times, I mean, I know you can relate. This is why I put this girl up here. We feel that way sometimes. Like you're about to do something big in your business and in your life, and you're like, oh God, like, please let this be the right decision, you know, because I don't want to shame. It's that feeling of shame, right? And that fear of being embarrassed and that fear of being judged. And I want to break something down for you guys. And this is the cold hard truth about that whole statement I just made. People judging us, people not liking us, and people making fun of us. And I hate to tell you this, but people already don't like you. People are already judging you. And people are already making fun of you. Can I get an A freaking men in the comments, right? So the question is, who are you living your life for? Who are you running your business for? Who are you in your relationship for? Who are you raising those kids for? You or everybody else? And here is something I love so much, like I'm sweating when I tell you this, like if they're already talking about you, let's give them something to talk about. Let's give them something to talk about, right? So this to me is very empowering because you have an opportunity in front of you to change the story. And I'm going to say something here right now to you. Your positivity and your lens of possibility does not discount that there is pain in the world. And you being optimistic does not deny that there are people suffering. It means that you choose to be a light in a world that can feel very dark. If you have joy and light to give, it is your job to not feel bad about that and to give it, because y'all, there are people that cannot get out of bed. There are people that are really struggling right now. There are people that need the light. And so we have to stop feeling guilty for bringing the joy. We need to become obsessed with it, because if you have it to give, we need you to give it. And we have to stop feeling bad about being positive. And if there is someone giving you trouble for that, goodbye, block and bless. I have a block and bless philosophy on the social media with haters. I love a good discussion, and we're lucky. I don't get a lot of bad people in my world, but you know, every now and then, fine, block and bless. This isn't the place for you. But if you have joy to give, please give it, right? So I want to talk about one big idea before I go on to the 5 little baby ideas that will help you sort of navigate this discomfort zone. And we have to have a conversation about this word, the F word I do not like, and it's the word fearless. I think this stops us up too. When we get through judgment, then we get caught up on this word because we're so worried about, we think we have to be fearless. The world, this is where we get confused. The world is telling you to go be fearless, right? There's fearless t-shirts and books and jewelry and bumper stickers, and everybody's telling you to go be fearless. And I loathe this word. I can't stand this word because the goal shouldn't be fearless. Think about it. If you were really fearless, you would do all kinds of crazy stuff. You would never go to a doctor. You would never pay your taxes. I probably wouldn't. Like if I was crazy and fearless, right? You would walk down dark alleys alone at night by yourself. You'd eat poisonous foods. You would do all kinds of crazy stuff. And Elizabeth Gilbert wrote about the word fearless in her book, Big Magic. And I love that book. If you haven't read, maybe that's a book. Julie, have you guys read that? I can see you on my screen. Have you guys read Big Magic? You have? It's so good. Me too. That's one I could go through time and time again. If you haven't read Big Magic, go get you some of that. I was reading that book actually when I came up with the idea for Fearless, my homeboy. So it's transformed my life in so many ways. But she wrote this. She said, listen, the only fearless people I know are 5-year-olds and sociopaths. So we love 5-year-olds, but we're not 5. And we most certainly aren't sociopaths. So no, the goal shouldn't be fearless. The goal should be figuring out how to fear our fear just a little bit less, and this is what makes you brave. Our goal doesn't need to be perfect. Our goal doesn't need to be this fearless woman. Our goal, your only goal, is to be just a little bit braver than you were yesterday, right? Braver than yesterday. That's what we're always chasing. So I want to share a couple of ideas with you. Let me get my slide back. There we go. I want to share a couple of ideas with you. I really believe bravery is the bridge that will walk you from the comfort zone into the discomfort zone. And I love the discomfort zone. I think it's a magical kingdom. I actually have a drawing of the discomfort zone behind me on my whiteboard there. The discomfort zone is this magical kingdom, and the mayor of the discomfort zone is freedom, right? Everything you want is like in freedom, right? That's what we really want, more freedom in our lives, like we talked about earlier. And then in the discomfort zone, all kinds of really cool people live there, like magic and joy and wonder and curiosity and play and confidence and success as you define it. Like all of that is living inside of the discomfort zone. And there's only one path into the discomfort zone, and it is the bridge called bravery. So I want to share what I believe brave really means. And I think these five, I know these 5 ideas will transform the way you think about yourself and your business and help you dance a little bit more confidently inside the discomfort zone. And we have to begin with boss. And I put that first on purpose because nothing works if you don't work. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, this idea that you are running, whether you work for someone else or not, you're running a business. You're running your business, right? This business. And if this business doesn't work, nothing else works. I dedicated an entire chapter in my book to this idea of being the CEO of who you are. And I think a lot of us, especially women, and especially women who have children, this is a tough spot because we feel guilty. We feel shame around putting ourselves first. And I do this exercise in some of my workshops where I have people list like all their top 10 priorities, right? Like what are the top 10 things you have going on? I talked about this in the book, and 99.9% of the time, we are last, if not 8th, 9th, or 10th on our own list. And so I challenge you to really get uncomfortable here. It's uncomfortable to think about putting yourself first on your own list because you feel selfish for doing that. You feel shame for that. I actually think self-care is one of the bravest things you can do. And setting boundaries around that is so powerful because when you take care of yourself, who do you think is going to benefit from all of that beautiful self-care? The people that you are ahead of you on your own list, right? When you are the best version of yourself, that is so extremely contagious, especially to the little bambinos that are watching you. You have this opportunity to become a beautiful self-love and fear role model. And I think that is a really powerful job to have because we're watching you, not in a creepy stalker way. We're watching you to see what you do, and your courage and your confidence and your self-care gives me the permission to go do some of that for myself. So we need to stop feeling guilty about that and really start thinking about ourselves as the boss, right? We're not just a fear boss. We're also a real boss. Like we are running this business first, and nothing works if we don't work. So it's uncomfortable because this is a different way of thinking, but it's very, very important. Okay, so the R. The R is for, oh, I love this word, ruckus. Okay, so a fear boss is on a mission to cause a ruckus. And here's what this means. It means that you are required to rattle the cage of mediocrity with your courage. So a fear boss does not do basic, and I ride Peloton, so I'm a big Peloton rider. Robin Arzon's like my favorite. She says that like every 5 seconds, and it's so true. And even Seth Godin leads a lot into this idea of causing a ruckus, like being the linchpin, right? And so I'm always looking for ways to do things a little bit differently, because here's why. If you want a different life than everybody else, if you want a different business, if you want a different relationship, you have to be willing to do things different than everybody else. And that requires courage and guts and the confidence to trust yourself. See, confidence for me isn't like thinking that you're better than anybody, or being aggressive or a bully or bragging and tooting your own horn in a negative way every 5 seconds. Confidence just means that you believe that no matter what happens, you're going to figure it out because you love yourself and you trust yourself. And the best bet you'll ever make is on your damn self. Period. People will leave you. Companies will fire you. Economies will crash. Pandemics will happen. But who would have thought in a freaking million years that that would ever be the case? But it is. But what's still here? What is still standing right now? What is unshakable? You. So the best bet you'll ever make is on your damn self. And so this idea of trusting ourselves enough to rattle the cage of mediocrity with our courage is how you stand out as a human being, and most certainly as a business owner. So I'm obsessed with the word ruckus. In the discomfort zone, we are causing ruckuses on the regular. We're also taking action. So action is fear experiments. So that's the big idea behind our work on fear that really came out of fear. As my homeboy, I wrote loosely about this idea in the book. I made it a homework assignment, and I talked about it once on a keynote stage about a year ago, and it blew up. All of a sudden, everybody was doing fear experiments, and all this stuff was happening online. And I was like, how amazing is this? It just kind of became a movement. And so I really invite you to join us, the Fear Boss community. This is what we're obsessed with doing on this mission of becoming fear scientists, and just begin experimenting with your fear. And here's what I love. Action is important because bravery is a verb. You can't sit there and be brave. Bravery, you got to move your butt, right? You got to move. You got to go do something, right? Bravery is motion. It's a verb, right? And so fear experiments put you in motion. And I love momentum. I write about this in my book. And Jensen Sherrill, who wrote You Are a Badass, says this. She goes, momentum is a freight train full of F yes, right? So once you get that momentum, you are really hard to stop. And fear experiments keep you moving, Fear Boss, right? And so fear experiments, let me back up. Thinking of yourself as a fear scientist and just experimenting with your fear every day on purpose removes the fear and the overwhelm and the stress and the anxiety out of anything new you want to go do for yourself. And it welcomes in more confidence and courage and creativity and play, because if you're just experimenting, you can't really F it up because it's just an experiment. It worked, great. It didn't, great. And in the Fear Boss community, we also live behind this mantra, and this is a big improv mantra, this idea of being brave enough to fail and to fail forward. We're going to talk about that next. But fear experiments can be really big things, like quitting a bad habit, leaving a toxic relationship, starting a new business, moving to a new city, knowing no one, writing a book, all of these, having kids, not having kids, all of these big choices we make in life are big, juicy, meaty fear experiments. But you don't need to jump out of a plane or free solo Mount Everest to prove to anyone or yourself that you're brave. You can do small baby fear experiments every single day to prime your brave muscle, because it's a muscle. It's like your creativity. If you don't use your creativity, you'll lose it. If you don't work out in the gym, you'll lose your muscle mass. If you don't use your courage, you're going to lose the ability to be brave. So fear experiments are drills. If you think about it as a gym, we're in Fear Boss Fitness. And in Fear Boss Fitness, we're picking up weights, but the weights we're lifting are fear experiments. They're uncomfortable things. So baby fear experiments are things like reaching out to Julie saying, hey, Julie, I read a cool book. I want to lead the next Zoom meeting and do the introduction on the speaker, or taking your first selfie and posting it to Instagram. It could be taking a different drive to the grocery store. That's what I did the other day because things are so crazy around here. I was like, oh, I'm going to take a different drive to the grocery store. See if I'm going to not use my GPS. I'm just going to get lost a little bit. That's a fear experiment because that's getting uncomfortable. It's wearing a color you're not used to. It's trying new foods. It's speaking up first on a conference call. It's sitting in the front row of meetings. It's reading, listening to a podcast. I'm starting to read a lot of biographies, which are really cool. I just read Steve Martin's Standing Up. Whoa, that transformed me in ways I never knew what was that? But again, out of my comfort zone, but really cool. You got to mix up those inputs if you want different outputs. If you're only listening and reading and following people that look like you and think like you and do what you do, you're not going to really be a creative person in life and business. So I'm following like tap dancers and DJs and graffiti artists and historians and scientists. And so I'm listening to a podcast on like science, and it's so uncomfortable. Like I want to turn it off, but then I'm like, oh, I just learned something. Like I would have never gotten that input had I not, or I would have never had this new output in my business had I not gotten myself. So again, those are examples of small fear experiments. The goal is to be getting uncomfortable regularly on purpose, because this is how we get braver. So fear experiments are the gold. The V, one of my favorite words. I always say that Brene Brown is like my Beyonce. So I'm obsessed with getting vulnerable and being vulnerable. And the improv theater is all about vulnerability. And the discomfort zone, you navigating the discomfort zone in really powerful ways, requires you to be vulnerable. This means you are brave enough to get it wrong so that you can get closer to getting it right. In the improv theater, one of my favorite mantras, besides yes and, is this idea that there are no mistakes, no failures, only gifts. And we are legit told, like one of my teachers, Jay, used to tell us before every show, he'd go, I want you guys to go out there tonight and I want you to fail. I want you to fail so hard. I want you to bomb. And I had never in my life gotten the permission to do that. In corporate America, people were telling me to be myself and, do whatever you want with the presentation, but please call me and CC 5 people before you do that, right? Like, be yourself, but not too much. Color outside the lines, but not too much, and right? But in the improv theater, I was being told to fail and to mess it up and to be more of myself and to get it wrong so I could get it right, which really walked me into this beautiful space of being brave enough to be vulnerable, to have things go wrong and to say, okay, cool. What did I learn from that? Because here's the deal. You're going to either win or you're going to learn, but you will never lose. And when you have that mindset, dude, you are not only unstoppable, but this makes you irresistible, because you really start to exude a confidence, and everybody's like, well, what has she got that I don't have? And I want what she's drinking. Really, all you're drinking is courage, and all you're drinking is the confidence that you're going to be able to figure out whatever happens. And you're not going to let mistakes define your life. You're not going to let failures become your future. You are in control of what happens next. And dude, this will set you free. Be brave enough to get it wrong. Look at it as an experiment. Take good notes, because you're a scientist, so that you can get a little bit closer to getting it right. And then, of course, last but not least, we have to have the energy to be able to sustain all of the above, right? You have to protect your energy with your life. And here's the thing that you have to understand. You cannot be exhausted and brave. You can't be overwhelmed and brave. You can't be sick and brave. You can't be crazy busy and brave, because bravery requires stamina. It requires energy. It requires focus. It requires you to be alive and awake on the front lines of your life. So you have to be protecting your energy with your life. And I take the business of maintaining and managing energy very seriously. It goes back to the top of the equation. Being a boss, right? There are assets you're protecting in this business that you own, and your energy is probably one of the most important. Brendan Bouchard says this. He's like, listen, power plants don't have energy. They freaking generate energy. So are you doing the things to generate energy? And you guys are in this business. And so use some of these ideas as you think about working with your clients. But energy, yes, I love this. Energy is everything. So those are the 5 big ideas I wanted to get to. I want to make sure we have time for questions and just a little conversation. I do have some fun things to share with you guys, a couple of free resources if you want them. So let me share my screen again. I do have a gift for you guys. So here's some free stuff, okay? So if you text BRAVE Brave to 474747. You'll get all kinds of stuff. Like this is, I have some morning journaling pages for the morning, for the evening, some really fun Fear Boss screensavers, like a couple free chapters of my book if you haven't read, or maybe someone wants to try before they buy. But this is just a great resource and a way to stay connected to a lot of the work we're doing, specifically my Friday newsletter, y'all. It's a big party in your inbox every Friday. So we'll get you signed up for that. But this is always sharing tools and resources that'll help you lead your teams and help you just stay really connected to the work. And of course, my podcast, always free and full of good information. And we do, Erica was one of my Fear Bosses of the week. So I am picking reviews every week and sending like fun Fear Boss swag bags, books, workbooks, all that good stuff. So these are some free resources that you guys can use to keep the Fear Party going. We also have a fan page on Facebook. So this is our Facebook group. It's a private group. If you want to be a part of our community and just really meet people who are like-minded from a fear perspective, we're building a cool resource there. And I jump in from time to time and do Q&As and talk to you guys about new stuff I'm doing. And just it's a really supportive, beautiful community. And then free is always social media. I love Instagram. That's probably where I hang out the most. So come see me there. You guys always do such a good job of like fun boomerangs. And I'm sure when I get onto my phone after this, there'll be all kinds of fun new friends and a really fun boomerangs. So I can't wait to see you there. But definitely come hang out with me on social media. And then last but not least, we have resources. So we have a book and a brand new workbook. And yesterday we just launched our freaking Fear Boss store. So y'all, I got Fear Boss fanny packs. I cannot even those courageous gangster fanny packs. I can't. We've got hoodies and sweatshirts and stickers and oh my gosh, water bottles and all kinds of fun stuff and coffee mugs. So I wanted to mention that to y'all. If you use, write this down. If you use Fear Boss 15 at checkout, we'll give you 15% off of your entire order. So whenever you go shopping, that's not good for the workbook though, because the workbook is like Amazon only and they control all the pricing on Amazon. But for my book and for all the fun stuff, if you want to get some stickers and do up your water bottle, you get 15% off. So just go to my website, judyholler.com merch, and then you'll be able to find all of that. And I think that was it. So let me stop sharing my screen and come in. Okay, hopefully that like wasn't overloading and too much, but I'm really excited about those 5 new ideas, and they're really helping me right now as I think about this uncomfortable space, because even when we navigate through this, and we will, things are going to happen again, and we're going to walk into the discomfort zone multiple times in life. And so I just feel like those 5 ideas will help you guys build beautiful businesses, build really brave lives, and most importantly, stay in forward momentum. Hi, Julie. Julie, I'm obsessed with you too, Julie. I love this. No, just crying over here. No big deal. Birdie, I love it. Birdie, I love your name too. I can't even. Megan, I'm so glad this has been helpful. This is just what a great way to start my day. So talk to me. What questions can I answer for you guys? It's a fear experiment.
Unmute. Yeah, don't feel like you have to ask him in the chat too. Unmute. Be brave, for goodness sake. She did a presentation on being brave. Unmute yourself and ask a question. You have an incredible author sitting in front of you with incredible content. Don't miss a chance to ask a question, even if you feel like it might be silly. It's not silly. What's silly is if you aren't brave enough to ask it. So ask.
It's a fear experiment to go first.
It's Erica. Hello.
Erica, there we go. I'm gonna go back to page 1. Hi, Erica. Good to see you, girl. My St. Louis sister.
Yes, sitting in the city of St. Louis as we speak.
Yes, girl.
So question, whenever you are obviously taking like lots of notes about being okay with being afraid to fail, like how do you like dust yourself off and like, let's say you try something and it doesn't work, and then you're always afraid of like the and sometimes I go to like family or friends being like, I told you so. Oh, here she goes again. I told you that was, oh, you think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
Naysayers, like the Judgy McJudgersons, and then that sometimes like the failure from that like makes you go, or at least it makes me like go back into my shell, and I'm like, okay, you're right. Yeah, sorry. Just right. It makes me feel, I guess sometimes like in my family, I think that they think that I'm super flaky, and like my nickname in high school was Phoebe from Friends, like the what, like the double, like, so that sort of persona has like kind of carried with me now into like, you know, even as I approach 40, it still is that sort of, oh, Erica, that's cute. She's got all these ideas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cute. So
Totally.
can you like riff on that? Like,
Yeah. Well, listen, I hear you. My best friend and I were just having a conversation about this because one of our other college friends always calls my best friend Jody baby Jody. And she's like, you know what? That's like, you know, I'm like 43 years old and I'm not really baby Jody anymore. And it feels kind of passive aggressive. And it's always like Jody goes to do something. It's like, oh, isn't that cute? She wants to get her master's or, you know, and so my best friend goes through this like on the regular. I think we all do. And here's the thing about other people's opinions. We've got to watch that, because that is a way fear shows up to block us, right? And there are going to be people that do not understand your dreams, okay? And there are going to be people that don't like you going out and chasing something new for yourself, because you changing may mean something for them. Like if you change and you become this big thing and you actually go do it, well, will you still need me? Will you be around? I mean, I can give you a very tactical example. When I was younger, I smoked, right? I came up in that era when that was cool. Like, it's so gross to admit, but it's true. And so when I quit at the age of 30, I remember going through that process, and there were people that could not handle me quitting and me wanting to make that change in my life. So people would talk about me, people would passive aggressive me, people stopped hanging out with me. I wouldn't get invited to certain happy hours or things, right? And so it wasn't that they didn't like me, but my quitting held up a mirror to a sword they couldn't lay down for themselves. And so be very careful of other people's opinions. I mean, even another example, when I was going through the process of my book, I talked about this on my podcast. I'm trying to think of the episode, and I had never shared this story before. Maybe it was episode 11 when I kind of talked about behind the scenes of the business. But when I was naming my book, Fear is My Homeboy, my husband had a big problem with it. He did not like it. And it wasn't that what my husband was trying to be control. Remember, I cause a ruckus, right? I'm the boss, not my fear. And I trust in myself. And my job is to rattle the cage of mediocrity with my courage. Maybe I'll get it wrong. Maybe I'll get it right. But I won't know unless I try, right? And so my husband did not like it. And he was very concerned about it. But it wasn't that what my husband is a bad person or that he was trying to be controlling. It's because he didn't want to see, his job is to protect me, and he doesn't want to see me get hurt. And so me doing something outside of his comfort zone made him uncomfortable, because it revealed something. If she does this, what does this mean for us? What does this mean for her? And what if something happens, and how will I be able to help her? And so he reacted in kind of a negative way, because it opened a door on something in himself that he wasn't sure how to handle. It was outside of his comfort zone. And so I think when people are uncomfortable with your decisions, they could react in ways that feel really confusing. And so we have to be very careful of other people's opinions. And I always kind of go back to, okay, we can't control other people's opinions of us. We can't control other people's judgments of us. All we can do is stay true to who we are, make sure we're having a good time while we're doing it. And we might, if they're talking, we might as well give them something to talk about, right? So I don't know if that helps, but just beware other people's opinions, because there are going to be people that are very close to you that don't understand your hustle, that don't understand your dreams, and it 9 times out of 10 means that they're more concerned about what it means for them. And so really understanding that can help you have more loving conversations instead of being confrontation. What are you afraid of? Excuses are fear. And, if you've got teenagers in your life, I have 3 stepsons, one's a teenager. Okay, we hear a lot of excuses. Well, what does that mean? And what does that look? What are you afraid of? Because excuses usually are fear. Control is fear. There's love or fear. Someone being passive aggressive is fear. And so this just sort of gives you a new set of information. So when you're having conversations with people you love that are in your family that you can't really tell the F off, they got to be in your life. So I just can't believe I threw up the birds. But seriously, you have to figure out how to work with these people, and because you do love them. And so a beautiful way to do that is say, okay, well, what are you afraid of? Does something here make you feel afraid? And maybe we talk about it. If not, just keep moving forward. Momentum is everything, and give them something to talk about. But yeah, we have to beware other people's opinions.
It's always so interesting to me how many people will say that they want an amazing life, they want to do this, they want to do that, and then they get so intimidated by other people who are actually on the path to go do that very thing that they say they want.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we meaning women will go, oh, well, maybe that thing isn't really that. Maybe I should just come right back here and turn my volume down and do that, and not do that because other people think it's wrong. Yet they're the very people that are saying, oh, I want an amazing life and I'd love to travel. I wish I could travel. And you get around someone who's doing the thing.
Yes.
And they immediately want to tear them down. And that's why it's so, so, so important to make sure you're staying connected with the community of people who are like, no, you're awesome. You keep doing that thing.
Yes.
And you disconnect from the others.
That is a beautiful add-on, Julie. So like bow down. I like couldn't agree more. So listen to that. But also let me add on to that. The booze never come from the field. They come from the cheap seats. No one that is doing what you want to do, no one who is ahead of you, no one that is doing what you seek to do in your life will ever tell you to stop. It's the people that are stuck and afraid and lost and living fear-based lives that are going to feel really uncomfortable with you being brave. And so it doesn't mean we don't love them, but how can we become a fear role model and inspire them? Like, if I can do it, so can you, right? And this is why I love that idea of being a fear role model, because we are watching. And yeah, it's easy to look at someone's life, to Julie's point, on Instagram and think, oh my God, I want all these things. But dude, that requires you to get really uncomfortable and to do a lot of hard work. And no one is ever lucky, but let me tell you, if you are in the arena, this is a Brene, and it's that quote by, I think, Lincoln, or it's that quote of like, if no one in the arena is going to be booing you. And if you are not in the arena with me, doing the hard stuff, making the uncomfortable decisions out there every day, risking judgment and fear and self-doubt, then I don't want your freaking opinion. But if you are also in the arena, killing the game, trying new things on, failing, taking risks, experimenting with your fear, then yeah, I'll listen to what you have to say, because you may be able to offer me something with love. Someone that's in the arena is going to speak to you a very different way than someone who is not doing anything. So that's another thing, Erica, to really look at is, beware the opinions. So Julie, thank you for adding it. Beware the opinions of people not in the arena. Don't even seek them out. Don't even seek them out. Yeah.
So good. So good. Does anyone have one more? And then we're going to take a really awesome picture, a video. Does anyone have one more question to wrap us up? Any last minute that you want to share? I think anyone who's willing to do some sort of fear experiment today should drop something in the chat box, like some sort of heart, some sort of what, I don't care what it is. And in our business, for whatever reason, usually that means inviting. Although why inviting has so much fear around it, Judi, we can never really put our hands around, because someone invited us, so our life changed. And yet all of a sudden when we have to start inviting, well, oh my God, I have to invite. Why is that so scary? I don't know. Your life's different because of it. Why are you scared to invite someone else to join you? But in our business, that's the scary thing, is the inviting. So I would love to know if people are going to do some scary stuff today, and put in the chat box if you're going to do some scary stuff, or you're just going to sit on this amazing Saturday morning book talk and take notes and go, that was awesome, and then go back to your life and do freaking nothing. Because if you did, why'd you show up?
We got Lindsay here. She's going to have a hard conversation with her dad. And I have been there, man. My mom and I, whoa. So yeah, you set yourself free when you do that. And that's a big, juicy fear experiment. But when you look at it from the lens of setting yourself free, because resentment's going to make you sick. And anger is going to make you sick. And I wrote about that just put that in my freaking Fear Boss workbook. I use that as one of my examples. I'm like, dude, on October 14th, I'll never forget it. I picked up the phone and called my mom. I hadn't spoke to her in 3 years. And I felt like literally a pound of bricks were lifted off my back, right? And so Lindsay, yes. And you know what we could do, Julie? We could do a little game. So anybody that tags me on a fear experiment, like specifically Instagram. So say you do something today. Maybe it's a fear, like a selfie, or just whatever you're doing today. Maybe you try a new food or something. I'm gonna pick my favorite fear experiment. So tag me and I'll pick my favorite fear experiment, and I'll give you guys, I'll send you like a combo pack. You'll get my book signed and my workbook signed. So if you have one, gift it to someone, or whatever. or pass it on, but I will pick my favorite. Maybe we do that. And
that.
just have, that's a little accountability measure. Sandra, invite my breast cancer survivor past group who has done UPF to the different nutrition approach with 2B mindset. I love that. And you know what, Julie, to add on to what you were saying too, and even to Sandra's point here, inviting, selling, asking. Oh God, I know, I'm with you. It is so weird, right? Even like the end of my presentation where I'm like, hi, okay, so I awkward face emoji. So I have these books and these things and you can come join us, but and I go over it. Do you notice? Like I go really fast over it and I'm like sweating and I'm nervous. But then you start to think like, well, hold on a second. Why do you do what you do? Like it's important when you believe in what you do, when you lean into the stories of change. I think about this every time I'm on a keynote stage and I get nervous. Right before I walk on, I think if I could help one person, and I think of the dozens and hundreds of stories that I've gotten in my inbox of people doing crazy things because of fear experiments, that's how I know this works. So it gives me the confidence to sell. So I bring this up to say, lean into your stories, use stories, share stories, start your micro content with, imagine that you, have you ever, what did I just do yesterday on my post about my neon sign? I think I started, and this is another, there are 3 ways. Imagine that you, have you ever, and so there you are, right? And so what you're doing is you're taking this thing that you love, this business that you love, this thing that's changed your life, and you're flipping the script and you're starting it in the lens of what's in this for me. When I wrote my book, my developmental editor, we went through chapter 1, and this has changed the way I write my micro content, the way I email, the way I do everything now. We went through chapter 1 and we went through I got 2 sections done and I sent her everything. And it came back with all these highlights and she highlighted all the I's. And she goes, I need every one of these I's to become a you. What's in it for your reader? It doesn't mean you can't tell your story, but what does it mean for the person who does not know about you? We're more worried about ourselves than anybody else, right? And so let that inspire you to more confidently sell and put yourself out there and invite people to join you on this journey. It has to be a story. People have to feel your vulnerability. Use the framework. Show that you're a boss, right? Cause a ruckus. Do things a little bit differently. Take action, which means actually doing an invite, be vulnerable in that invite, and then bring some energy, bring some swag to the messages you're sending. Start jumping into people's messages like, hi, I'm Erica, what's up? We haven't talked in a while, but let me say one more thing before we get off the phone, and this will be in the line or whatever. So I had a girl from Color Street Nails reach out to me, okay? You can't just reach out to people blind, right? Finding a way to make a connection is a really badass way to, and we wanna feel special. We wanna talk about ourselves and what's going on, right? So this girl obviously was following my page and knew a little bit about me and my brand, and she jumps into my DMs and she's like, oh my God, your sister Denise is getting married. She uses my sister Denise's name, okay? And she's like, oh, I see your sister, I'm paraphrasing. I see your sister Denise is getting married. And oh my God, I love weddings. It was so fun when my sister got married. I'm guessing you girls are getting ready to plan like a bachelorette party or something like that. I'd love to send you some of my nails so that you guys can use these and you don't have to deal with getting your nails done for the event. And so Color Street are these nails that you put on and you don't have to do your nails. And in quarantine, they've kind of blown up, but most direct selling organization, company I love. And she had just found this really cool way. And then I go, oh my God, what are these nails? And oh yeah, my sister is getting married. And it just was a really cool way to connect with me that didn't feel salesy. It felt like, oh, I see this about you and this may be cool. Or I see that you're really into fitness. You look great and your sister's getting married. You may want to try out some of these shakes before the wedding. It helped me lose 15 pounds. So think about how you want to be talked to, right? Imagine that you. So there you are. Have you ever, right? These are tools I use to feel a little less salesy and a little bit more relatable. I didn't mean to digress into a little social media thing, but I think that's a tactical tool you guys can use to feel less scared. And remember, it's a fear experiment. Okay, you get a no. Oh, well, dust your shoulder off, move on. Dust your shoulder off, move on to the next one. And then what worked? Hey, and when you get yeses, start logging them. Ooh, I got a yes. And once you build a relationship, ask someone on your team going, hey, what made you? What was it about me? What was it? And then you start getting a list of the stuff that works and the stuff that doesn't. So you do more of what works and less of what doesn't. I do that in my speeches. Like I'll have talks that kill and then talks that don't, audiences that work really well, some that don't. I'm starting to learn like what all that is like. And the more you study, the better you become. So I stop, but yeah, go out there and get them and let me know what fear experiments you guys conduct and I'll pick my favorites. I'll probably look at them throughout the day. So you have to the end of the day, the homework assignment, you have until the end of the day today to conduct your very first fear experiment. Use hashtag fear experiments, plural, because there's someone already with the trademark on fear experiment. It's an event called the fear experiment. They're awesome. And then just tag me at Judi Holler. And then I'll look for them tonight and I'll probably DM you. I'll just hop into your DMs.
Two things. You can do all the social media training that you want. We welcome that. We take that. We love that. All of it. We need all of it. Second, what's your time zone? Where do you live?
I'm on the East Coast. Yeah, so I'm in Ohio now. So I moved here 5 years ago from Chicago when I got engaged to my now husband.
You live in Ohio?
I'm in Ohio. So my best friend is in Zionsville, Indiana. She moved.
You are kidding me.
Yeah, she moved from Carmel to Zionsville. Jody, baby Jody is in Zionsville.
Are you kidding me?
No, so cool.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so I'm a Midwest girl, like St. Louis, born and raised.
Chicago,
Okay. Yep. Chicago
Okay.
for over a decade and now Ohio.
So here's what's going to need to happen at some point, Judi, when we can actually leave our homes and travel outside. Somehow we are bringing you to Carmel, Indiana, because we're going to tie that in with a trip. You know, you can do a little trip with your girlfriend, whatever. Zionsville. We are bringing you to Carmel, Indiana, and we are going to do a Spartan Nation team event with Judi Holler as our speaker, because that you're too close. And the minute you said Zionsville, like, okay, thank you, universe. Yeah, none of this is coincidence. So.
No, I agree. What an honor that would be. And you know, you guys would just love, like, so my signature keynote fear is my homeboy, and it can also be called the discomfort zone. People just kind of pick what their comfort level is, but it's got all the live improv in it. It is like a freaking party. It's a fear party, and we do live improv. So I get volunteers. So I have this like big vision of like one day rocking that Beachbody stage, the big stage, and like doing the live improv. I just think that would be so dope. Talk about a fear experiment, right? I'd be like, holy crap, but at least I'd have friends in the room, right? You guys would be able to like, cheer me on. But that is something I'm like trying to manifest. We gotta make it happen once we get back to the live events. But
I gotta tell you, we're a good audience. Beachbody coaches, we're a good audience. So
I'm obsessed with Beachbody. I've gotten to meet so many of y'all, and it's just they're some of my favorite humans on the planet. So this is
so great. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna do. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna do a video rather, because we got a couple pages. So let me put me on. Hold on. Let me get it on full screen so that.
Ooh, you can do full screen. I never even heard about that.
Yeah, so that way I can video a little bit easily. Okay, here we go. So hold up your books, guys. Hold up your books. If you've got your books, you got something or whatever you took your notes in, or you know, whatever you did, hold up your books. Okay. I can't do that. So we're just gonna have to, I'll have to superimpose mine in a minute. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, video. Look at these. Look at this. Over to pay. Yes, look at all these books. So much amazing content from this lady right here. So good. Oh, that's fun. I'll tell you.
I'm gonna do the same with you guys. We gotta keep those books up. I'm gonna do a little Instagram story with y'all.
Okay, now I can be in it.
There's a way to start your Saturday morning. It's with these beautiful faces. Okay, let me go to page 2. I'm going to get you on page 2. Watch out. Watch out. Look at that. Look at those hot pink books. And thank you, Erica. Thank you, Julie, for having me. Yo, what a Saturday.
What a great way to start a Saturday morning. Yay! You are amazing. I'm obsessed with you. This has been fantastic. Oh my gosh, we're just so grateful for you sharing an hour of your day. And I think I speak for a lot of people, like just right now, this moment, we just needed this. So thank you so much for sharing your hour with us today.
Thank you for having me.
One more question?
For setting it up. Yeah, go ahead, Birdie.
So you asked for questions earlier, and there's just a lot going on in my head and trying to narrow it down. And I love what you shared about brave. I'm a single working mom of twin 13-year-old girls, and this quarantine has been quite something. So, and especially about energy. So the questions I had, and I kind of narrowed it down, it really comes to energy and protecting your energy. And it's so hard. If anybody has teenage girls, you feel me. But when you're the only adult, the only trying to be rational adult, I find my energy wears out by like noon. Yeah. And then I don't have the energy for the rest of the day. So a quick tip, and I try to prioritize and do those things, but a quick tip or any tips on how to try to maintain that energy so that I would love to, I start the morning with great energy, but then it just fizzles and I'm frustrated by that.
Yeah, totally. I love that Julie just chimed in with that comment. That was the first thing I was going to say. Birdie, give yourself some grace. Give yourself grace. Dude, there are so many people that are, and to be a single parent, I have not been in that situation, so I can't fully relate, but I know how it feels to be crazy busy, and I know how it feels to be irritable and stressed out and exhausted and sick and overwhelmed and drinking way too much rosé and making poor decisions because I am sick and overwhelmed and stressed out, right? And so first, give yourself grace. Right? It's a season. You're in quarantine. Things are crazy. It won't be this way forever. And just microdose. Overwhelm and anxiety is amplified when we think, oh my God, this is never going to end. And what am I going to do next school year? Focus on today. What is one thing you can do today that will give your heart joy? Maybe you lock yourself in the bathroom for 10 minutes and watch a video that you've been wanting to watch and the girls are coloring something. Maybe you get a sneak in a bubble bath really early in the morning when they're asleep. Maybe you are able to go for a walk around the block. Maybe it's like a Zoom with your best friend, someone that makes you laugh, right? Maybe it's watching an actual comedy show tonight on Instagram to just laugh with your favorite comedian. But like, don't think about doing all the things. Think about just little baby microdose slices of joy. Get one thing a day. Make chocolate chip cookies. If you love chocolate chip, tonight I'm making chocolate chip cookies, right? So take a deep breath. Not everybody's going to have this perfect Zen morning with journaling and magic and green juice. Microdose. Go small to go big. Give yourself some grace, and girl, this will pass. Those teenagers are going to grow up. They will. And you're not going to be a single mom forever. And quarantine isn't going to go on forever. So try to find, and maybe a cool exercise, a homework assignment for you is to make it a goal. And this is hard to do when things feel really tough and really bad. Make it a goal at the end of every day to do two things. How did I get uncomfortable today? Write down a fear experiment. Did you do anything uncomfortable? Your self-care is going to feel uncomfortable because you're going to feel guilty about it. I log fear experiments every night, 1 to 3 things. And I notice like sometimes I don't have fear experiments because I'm like, dude, I'm not getting uncomfortable enough. I haven't had a fear experiment in a week, 2 weeks. So I'm not getting uncomfortable enough. So what did you do today to get uncomfortable? But maybe, and more importantly, every night before bed, you write one positive thing, like what brought me joy today? Maybe that's more important for you right now. And that calls you to the carpet. It holds you accountable for doing something joyful in your day. And that's all it takes is one thing, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 20 minutes, once a day. And then you'll start to build that muscle. But take a deep breath. You got this. I'm glad you spoke up and asked that question. I think it's a beautiful way to sort of wrap up. And I think for everybody on the call, if we can just really be focused on right now, things, and joy can be a fear experiment. Being on a journey for joy is a fear experiment because sometimes we feel guilty about that, or we're a single mom, or we're trying to save our business, or everybody's out of work and we're trying to figure out how to pay our mortgage, right? So yeah, microdose or we'll lose our minds. Go small to go big.
And if you don't share, nobody knows and nobody can help. Yep. So you got to, and that's a female thing that nobody wants to share. Birdie, I'm telling you, it's a season. I have 3 daughters. You want to do this multiple times. And then they're home and you're so happy and it's okay. I swear to you, it is a season and they will be nice humans someday. But there are times when they're 13 that they're super not. that's okay. Cause sometimes I'm not a nice human either. So, we're all just trying to figure it out. I used to tell my oldest one when she would, do something, I'd be like, I never parented a 13-year-old before. I'm trying to figure this out. Just like you're trying to be 13, I'm trying to figure out how to parent a 13-year-old. So we're all just trying to figure all of this out. Business, parenting, relationships, life. We're trying to figure it out every single day. So lean into your community, show up for stuff like this. And for all of us, nobody knows when you need help unless you say you need help. Nobody knows that you need support or a cheering on or accountability or whatever. Nobody knows that unless you say that. I know we all have different love languages, but I think one of the most powerful ones is words of affirmation. And just as Judi poured into us today, and we took notes and we wrote it down, and we'll share, ask for it, say it, do the things, because we all need that now, especially. So the more connected we are, the stronger we are, for sure.
Mic drop. Love it.
Thank you, Judi. You're amazing. Come to Carmel, Indiana.
Wow. So much fun. Love you guys. See ya.
See ya.